Our members are angry about this.
This morning, new concerns about quality control at Boeing.
It's driving us together, a unified membership over the future of this company.
There are issues around the safety culture in Boeing. Their priorities have been on production and not on safety and quality.
We love the Boeing company. We just don't appreciate the people that are making short-term decisions that have destroyed some of the things that we hold dear.
Boeing, the storied American airplane manufacturer, is experiencing extreme turbulence after years of corporate mismanagement. At the core of the problem is the way that Boeing treats its 32,000 unionized workers in Washington and Oregon. Now those workers, members of the Machinists Union and in contract negotiations for the first time in 16 years, are making a bid to save the company.
And we all try to put out the safest product and most quality product that we can. A lot of these decisions that are coming down, unfortunately, are coming from upper leadership that are pushing production over safety, over quality. They want the airplanes delivered as fast as possible, and we're trying to do it as quality as possible.
They have focused solely on stock price, and I know that's important, and profitability is important, but they have pushed principles that have undermined the safety and quality of our manufacturing system.
A recent FAA investigation found deep flaws in Boeing's quality control process. One of its plane lines has been grounded. Airlines are jumping ship, and travelers are wary. It's all a product of a long-running issue.
The wages that they pay are comparable with McDonald's, right? There is a big turnover rate, and so a lot of people won't stay there very long to gain the knowledge and the skill set. And that knowledge and skill set goes a long way as far as building the airplane, quality, safety, things like that.
We went inside the top secret negotiations to learn how workers plan on rescuing the aerospace giant while winning the wages and benefits equal to their hard work and expertise.
So at Boeing, I am currently a safety coordinator. Before that, I was an electrical installer in the 767 program. When you have something that you want to fix and you know that you have a better solution and you get pushback, that is frustrating.
You would imagine that a company would rely on the experts that are doing the work for you to give input on how to improve process or how to make things more efficient.
The company did start to change, and a lot of people look back to the merger between Boeing and McDonnell Douglas.
The deal took place in 1997, creating one of the world's biggest airplane manufacturers. But building planes was not the concern. Investment in technology fell dramatically, while stock buybacks soared.
We saw many from McDonnell Douglas or GE start to take over leadership in this company and shift their priorities, for the company. And a lot of that was about increasing profit margins. They looked to extend programs that should be replaced, and they also looked to decrease their net assets. And you started to see them sell off, different parts of the business, like they sold off Wichita to Spirit, and they sold off a Boeing facility in Spokane to Triumph.
After the merger, extreme cost-cutting stripped Boeing of important businesses and essential functions. In the early to mid-2000s, Boeing sold manufacturing facilities to subcontractors in Spokane and Wichita, severing quality assurance.
Suppliers were required to reduce their cost to Boeing by 10% each year through the Partnering for Success initiative that they put forth, which really put a strain on the supply chain and the entire workforce.
The Partnering for Success initiative, implemented in the 2010s, was a reviled program meant to squeeze parts makers and suppliers into saving Boeing cash. It wound up sacrificing quality and sustainability, and was scrapped after the Spirit-owned facility played a central role in the door plug fiasco on an Alaska Airlines plane.
And we used to have engineering in-house on all shifts, and now a lot of that's been farmed out. They moved a lot of their engineers down to California and over to Oklahoma. We need to have better access to the engineers and stuff, because there's drawings that we'll find and there's something not right with the drawing or the job. You can't just call up an engineer and be like, hey, can I come up to your office? We need to look at this. This is conflicting information. You can't do that. And so it makes the process take days instead of a couple of hours.
It led to dangerous compromises and mistakes throughout the production process.
When I came through, the trainers were Boeing members. They were guys that came from my job and were training me to do that job. Now they've hired outside contractors, and these guys have never worked on airplanes, they've never worked at Boeing.
The company started to remove thousands of inspections. You know, we build the plane, we also inspect the plane. We make sure it's built the way it was designed, the way the process was approved through the FAA and the requirements to maintain that repeatability throughout the production system. And the company started to remove quality inspections and push that onto the mechanic. And they did that as a way to increase profits on the short term, but long term to the detriment of the infrastructure and control over the product that we've seen in the last 10 years.
Boeing's budget cuts extended to the people who make their planes, who they all but blackmailed several times since the last full negotiation in 2008.
They threatened to remove the 777X somewhere else. That was the most successful wide-body program in history at that time. We were building 8.3 airplanes a month, and they threatened to take the 777X somewhere else.
Boeing's size and its threat to destroy production and bring on less knowledgeable workers forced the union into worse deals with little negotiating. The first came in 2011, followed by another in 2013.
Local union officials had urged their 30,000 members to oppose the deal, arguing the proposal surrendered too much at a time of company profitability.
So we were forced into negotiations where we lost our pension, stagnated wages for the last 8 years, and had a huge cost shift on health care.
The union wound up approving the deal with just 51% of the vote in a low turnout election. It led to big reforms in the local machinists union and a determination to fix things for both workers and the company this time around.
We did propose over 40% over a 3-year period, over the life of the agreement. Our proposal was based off of our investigation around wages in similar classifications in the aerospace industry.
I think the biggest thing for us in the upcoming contract is getting those retiree benefits. I have a lot of people that are getting ready to retire. I'd like to retire one day, and I'd like to have those benefits available.
So I've literally lost $270,000 of my retirement because they got rid of the pension.
We haven't seen improvements to vacation and sick leave amounts for years. Our members deserve to receive more pay, have more paid time off, and be able to choose how they work overtime.
I really am excited to see some more life-work balance be brought into the contract. A lot of people now are focused on really improving that life-work balance and not having to be forced into working all the time and not being able to spend time with your family.
The goal for us is to achieve an agreement that we can recommend, that our members can accept, that addresses their priorities: the higher wages, retirement security, improved health care, improved paid time off, job security, areas around quality and safety.
As a union, we've asked to have a seat at the table with the board of directors, and I personally think that the Boeing company needs to look at that seriously.
We never thought about that we needed a seat on the board, the workers' voice on the board, but this board of directors has been so disconnected from the production system.
I think that we should have a seat at the table and to ensure that our members can be taken care of and that we can build a good quality, safe aircraft that the Boeing company can, provide for their customers.
The early stages of negotiations are underway ahead of the contract ending in September. In July, the union will take a strike authorization vote at T-Mobile Park.
It's going to take solidarity. We're going to all have to stand together.
It's very important that we have a production system that works as it's supposed to. It saves money, makes it more efficient, keeps people from getting injured, and in the end, delivers an airplane that customers and the flying public demand.
Thank you so much for watching our video. If you'd like to see more stories like this one, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel to get more Perfect Union in your feed. And if you have any ideas for stories that you would like for us to investigate, just drop them in the comments below.